Good afternoon and happy December 1st. I'm Bryan Houston. This is a Rattle and Hum Sports Freecast. And over there, or over there, I guess, or here. Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. That would
hmm
be Erica Lynn, who with the infamous blog, Erica Evolve with Erica. Erica has more frequent flyer miles than any single human being that I've ever known because she goes to basically every sporting event on the planet. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanksgiving good for you?
Yes, it was. I really didn't get to eat a lot, unfortunately, because I think that Cowboys game kind of made my stomach hurt a little bit, and I'm still getting over this cold. I swear I've had it ever since football season started, because the only game that I attended that was actually sunny, was the Notre Dame game,
Yeah.
and it's just been a continuous runny nose like this whole entire season. But my Thanksgiving was great. After the game,
hmm
I felt like I was eating my feelings, but other than that, I did have a good break. How about yourself?
Did well. I didn't have as much excitement as you had, obviously. You spent the whole time on the road. I stayed huddled up in a house in driving rain most of the weekend. But it was relaxing. I watched a lot of TV. I got into a lot of social media fist fights with people over the weekend. Um, because of course my entire life is revolves around LSU football right now. And the
Yes.
last 2 weeks of watching what people have been doing to Les Miles has been driving me just a little bit crazy. You went to the Texas A&M LSU game last Saturday night. Okay, so from an Aggie perspective, what did you think about the whole scene, which was pretty nuts?
It was nuts. And honestly, like I said, yes, I'm an Aggie, but I wanted Les Miles to give them the finger after the game. I feel like he has just been, thrown into the dirt, and from these loyal LSU fans, and everybody wants to, talk crap and everything. I think he deserves more. Les Miles deserves more. And
Well,
for his dignity, I felt like he should have left. He should have given them the peace sign right after.
Well, there's several things. A lot of people have said that, and the only thing I'll say to that is the fact that the fact that most of his team is coming back next year, and that he has right now the number one rated recruiting class in the country.
hmm
And if he leaves, then he forfeits that $15 million buyout. So there's a lot of reasons to stay at LSU, even though he was treated really shabbily, I think, the last couple of weeks. I don't blame him for staying. Um, on the other hand, yeah, it'd been great if he'd have just given him the big middle finger and said, good luck and have a nice life. But what did you think about the way the crowd um, embraced that whole evening? I mean, I've never seen it. I've watched football. I've watched college football for 40 years. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Like I said kind of earlier before we started this, I feel like everybody was anticipating something big, and I felt like they were anticipating, like I said, the like Les Miles doing something crazy. Um, and that's kind of what I mean. That's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the game, especially after all of this talk and hype of him, leaving, and then just emails that were exchanged with myself and with other people going back and forth saying that the crowd's not going to be that good because we've been losing. And that that right there just that just baffles my mind. I mean, they ended up what, 8-3. Less,
Yeah.
it's less miles. And to me, I don't know, like I have a nasty taste in my mouth of this season with LSU. Like, no offense, but just but and it really it's is more to do with the administrative side and just the loyalty of the fans. To me, that's just crazy. I mean,
Well,
just to say that you're not going to have a lot of people there because you haven't been, performing at your best, but you're still like you still have a winning season. I mean, you're still over 500. I don't know. It's just a nasty taste in my mouth, but I'll get over it. and
Totally
I'm
understand.
frozen.
Listen, going to ask you to do me a favor and refresh your browser for the moment, and I'll fill
Yeah.
while you do it, okay? Just go ahead and refresh your browser, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to let her refresh for a moment, and then she's going to come back. But we talked about this. Erica also, again, obviously a big Aggie fan. I really am interested to hear what she has to say about Kevin Sumlin's situation there now. She's already ripped the LSU fans and the administration, and the administration deserves to be ripped. But in the meantime, I do want to tell you that you can check out her blog. Just go to Let's Evolve with Erica. You can go to Facebook and find Evolve with Erica, and that will point you to the website as well, letsgetevolved.com. And that's where you can find Erica and see all the things that she's doing all the time because she stays on the road a lot and is constantly making trips. I can't wait for you to hear about her trip to Notre Dame here in just a few minutes too. Okay, you're back with me now. Good. I was
Yes,
pitching
I'm
your
back.
blog, and letting people know about all your trips and things. Um, I wanted to know from an A&M standpoint
Okay.
how the Aggie faithful are feeling about Kevin Sumlin now because he's kind of in the same situation that LSU is with Les Miles. They're paying a lot of money to a guy that's losing 4 or 5 ball games a year right now. Had the
Mhm.
first big year with Johnny Football, but it's kind of not gone all that well since then. So from an Aggie perspective, I know you people are the most loyal people in the world, but I also sat in the stands and listened to people scream and yell and cuss at R.C. Slocum for years when I would go to
Mhm.
A&M games. So don't tell me they're any different.
Now, I love RC Slocum, so I am a huge Slocum fan. Um, as far as A&M, I think just the whole, the stability, just with the quarterback. I think that that's been like the main problem. There has not been stability at all. Like, how can you honestly expect to win games when you're changing quarterbacks almost every single game? It just changes the momentum, and
The thing I
I
don't
think that that's
understand is, yeah, this guy is supposed to be the quarterback guru, and I just got the impression that the one area that A&M was never going to struggle in was going to be offensively, and that's turned out to be the difference this year. Is their offense has been really bad compared to
yeah.
what it was the first 3 years he was there.
hmm I think it's crazy because if you watch the first few games, like of them, on the offense with the quarterback and everything, I mean, it looked great. It looked very hopeful. They have the talent. It's I don't know. I wish I could pick his brain and understand kind of, his decision making in the sense of, the changing of the quarterbacks. But it's almost come to I don't know, I just came to the conclusion that you really never know who's going to be playing that position during the game. It's a flip flop. And it's kind of aggravating because you're asking, your whole offense to kind of get in a different rhythm because each one, brings something more or something less like to the offense at that point in time. And I think they need to choose one and go with it and quit,
Okay.
going back and forth on the whole if one messes up and then you bring in another one because it's not high school. You're not in high school anymore or junior high. I
Well,
mean, I don't even think they
what do
do
you,
that
what
in
do you
high school
do though
anymore.
if the guy is playing poorly? I mean, because for instance, Kyler Murray had a chance and then he played really badly. I mean, do you just leave him in there?
No, but I think that you give somebody more of a chance than like, oh, you mess up once and then you bring in another one because that's been the whole season. They have
Okay.
not had, I don't think, one quarterback play a whole entire game. Don't quote me, but I'm almost positive on that.
No,
I
it's
think
been a
it's
while.
been
I know back early on,
yeah.
Kyle Allen was solidly entrenched, and then for whatever reason, Alabama got a hold of him and put him into shock. But Alabama does that to a lot of people. I mean, it's no shame to get to get blasted by
hmm
Alabama Crimson Tide. They've
And
wrecked
both
a
of
lot
them
of
are
seasons over
good.
there. Huh?
Both of the quarterbacks are good and should be able to perform. Like he he has the talent. The talent's there. So I don't know what's going on, honestly, with that whole
So
thing.
do
I
you?
don't think that someone's leaving,
No, I don't think
but
he's leaving. Do you think he ought to be on the hot
no.
seat now, though?
Yeah, I don't know. People really like him because of he is a great recruiter. Kind of like Les, I
Hmm.
mean, just like Les Miles. Like you hear Les Miles and you're like it's like instant. You want to go there, and that's kind of like what Kevin Sumlin has. I mean, has brought to A&M is the from the recruiting standpoint. You want to you want to play for him. He's the cool coach.
Yep.
So I don't. I mean, probably I would say from maybe older alum hot seat, newer. I don't think so because he real. I mean, he has done good for the program, and
Okay.
I just think if they got the just win a bowl game, maybe that'll just like erase everything else because A&M isn't that great at bowl games. So
Just bring Johnny Football back, right?
do what?
Just bring Johnny Football back.
Ugh. Yeah. That's a whole different subject. That's a whole nother topic.
All right, I'll come back to that later. Boy, I take it you have some pretty strong feelings about that. I'll come back to that in a minute. Um, I want to know what you thought about Mark Richt getting canned over at Georgia.
I my heart goes out to him. I just feel like there's no reason why Georgia shouldn't, be winning national championships.
Man, you're
So
tough.
come on. Okay, I just remember when I was in high school. I mean, it was like Georgia. I just remember watching them. They were a powerhouse. They were. I mean, it was Georgia football, and like you said, they're great at recruiting. So to me, you have a strong foundation. People want to play football at Georgia. There's no reason. Like there's just no reason why you shouldn't have a winning record. Yes, I'm being tough today. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's
It's my
great.
cold.
I'm very interested. I mean, the funny thing about it though is they fire the guy after a 9-3 season. It's not like he's been losing games.
No, and that to me, see, and that's what's scary is, and that kind of falls into the whole Les Miles thing. It's like, what do these people expect now? I mean,
Well,
come on, it's now. If you're not undefeated, you make it canned. I mean, kind of
that's
like the Tom Herman thing. He lost one game. Is he gonna get fired? Which he's not going to. But it's like, is he gonna get fired too because he lost, to UConn? I mean, that's like what we're pretty much setting up for these coaches. It's almost like you have no hope anymore. Like
well,
your job is constantly on the line.
the money is so big now. I know in Rick's case, in Les's case, in Kevin Sumlin's case, they're all making over $4 million a year, and
Mm.
everybody expects that their team ought to win the national championship. But the amazing thing is, when's the last time you've seen a team win two in a row?
Right?
It
When
hasn't
is the
happened.
last time that that's happened? Has it?
I mean,
Oh, it's never happened before.
no, it's probably happened, but it's been a really, really, really long time since somebody, maybe Nebraska, back. I mean, it was back before the BCS championship game, though. I mean, it's
Does
just
it count if
really.
it was like when my grandfather played for A&M like years and years ago? Because I want to say I think that they like I remember them winning like back to back something, but it wasn't not like it is like these days. But yeah, I don't. I so Alabama hasn't won two consecutive
It's
before.
been even Alabama, as great as they were, they've never won back to back under Saban. They've won national
Yeah.
championships. They've won three, but they've never won back to back championships. My point being, it's just really hard. It's really hard to win a national championship.
Hmm.
And
I
you
mean
look at. Go ahead.
oh no no I think it's crazy. So that's why I said my heart goes out to him because it's what are you gonna do? And like we kind of talked about earlier, injuries. Like sometimes it's not the coach's fault.
I'm looking right now at a list of national champions. The last time we saw back-to-back champions, boy, it is going back a long, long way. I mean, I, It'll take a while to search through this because I'm not seeing it readily at this moment. I've seen split champions, but
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time finding back-to-back champions. In fact, it's like since it's the BCS era, it just hasn't happened. And that's the thing. Honestly, what's happening in the SEC is everybody thinks you ought, the guy they hire ought to be able to beat Nick Saban every year. Well, who's done that so
Hmm.
far?
Not many.
No, nobody's done it. I mean, even Urban Meyer, who probably is, I'd say probably the two best coaches in the country right now are Saban and Urban Meyer. But you know, Saban and Urban Meyer kind of went toe to toe, and they each had their moments. When Florida was a defending national champion with Tim Tebow, who knocked him off in his senior year in the SEC championship game, Alabama. So I mean,
Well,
it's not
I'm
exactly
gonna go with Urban
it's a
Meyer
pretty
over
small
Nick
fraternity
Saban.
of people that have been able to have their way with Nick Saban. Basically nobody. So it's a tough time. I want to ask you about your trip to Notre Dame. First of all, I want to know how that came about. What are your ties with Notre Dame? And then I want to
You know what? I
get
just
your
got really
impressions
lucky.
on what you saw at South Bend.
Luckily for me, there was a lady by the name of Lisa Kelly, and she is an author, and she wrote a
Okay,
book called The Men We Became.
I think we just lost her again. So let's see if we can get her to refresh her browser, and I'm going to send her a message there. And she went to Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago when they played Wake Forest. Mostly, it was one of these bucket list kind of visits where she had the opportunity to go and see one of the meccas of college football. And so I wanted to talk to her about that, kind of get an idea of what her impressions were of Notre Dame, and just kind of get a feel for what she thought about South Bend and all that goes on there. So we'll try to get her back here in just a second and bring her back on and see if we can get her back on the screen in just a
I'm
moment
back.
here. But let's see if our internet will hold up there. Okay, she's back now. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you. I'm
All right,
good.
Notre Dame. Tell me how that
Okay.
came about. Why is it that you got to go to Notre Dame? Nobody gets to go to Notre Dame from Texas. So why did you get to
Well,
go and tell me what you did?
the author, Lisa Kelly, she found me on Twitter and then she found me on Facebook and we kind of started messaging and she wrote the book called The Men We Became. And her dad played under Coach Lou Holtz and Lou Holtz actually wrote the foreword in her book. And the book kind of talks about, things that I like to talk about, like who you are on and off the field. And so her book's about 20, I think it's 25 Notre Dame players and kind of what they did, post football career. And she found me and she messaged me. And then I just got a lot of requests after she added me on Facebook. It kind of reminded me of the whole, A&M alum. It was like boom, boom, boom. Just a bunch of Notre Dame alum started adding me and they were asking if I was, going to one of their games. And obviously that's like a dream come true. And I never thought that it could happen. And then ironically, one of my friends who coaches for Pitt, he was playing against Notre Dame, and he wrote, I think on my Instagram picture or on my Facebook, he said, "You need to come to the Notre Dame game. Like we're playing there." And I couldn't because that was the weekend I was at OSU. I want to say I was at OSU. Maybe not. Maybe I'm lying. I think it was the OSU game. OSU and TCU. And then Lisa just, kind of made it happen. And I flew into Chicago and then rented a car and drove up there. And then she set me up with this girl who owns a boutique in South Bend. It's called Alley on the Boulevard. And she dressed me for the game. And then I met with her actually at the tailgate there. And then she just so happened to be really close with a lot of the administrative um, wives there, and she actually, I think she dresses some of them too. And then I just got to meet, the right people at the right time. And I got to meet some alum as well. And I think, who was it? Oh, Doug Flutie was there. Bon Jovi was there. It was their senior game, and it was just, it was amazing. I want to go back now. The experience was just unbelievable.
What I mean, obviously you've watched a lot of this on television. You've grown up watching Notre Dame, and you hear touchdown Jesus and all this kind of stuff. But what is it that sets that place apart from any other place?
You know what? The thing that really, really just they make you feel at home. Cool thing was I got people that came up to me immediately and they said, "You can spot an Aggie from a mile away." And I was like, "Oh no. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?" And I learned that they actually like Aggies because I know that Aggies like Notre Dame. Um, but they're so nice. I mean, it really did. It made me feel like I was in Bryan College Station, honestly. Their tailgate was great. Everybody was just participating. They were happy. They were having just the time of their life. And, even though they were playing Wake Forest, they were like, it, that just didn't matter. And it was like, the whole town was involved in the participation of this football game. And the fly-ins, like people who actually fly in, like the alum to come and see them play, that's just it's just unbelievable. It really is. I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be. How they treat you was better than I thought that they would be too, even though you are an outsider. And they were just so willing to, show me around and answer any of my questions. And I just want to go back, honestly. Like I feel like I missed some, and the timing that I went there was, it was very fortunate and unfortunate because it was the day after the Paris attacks. So they did have like a tribute and a big service for that. And I mean, that was an honor to just see that too. And what's also crazy is I didn't know how many Texas kids play football on that team. Did you know that?
Yeah,
There's
quite
quite
a
a
few.
few.
Well,
Yeah.
the Catholic connection makes a big difference. I mean, there are a lot of Catholic kids that automatically, uh,
Mhm.
if they weren't playing in state, would go and play at Notre Dame. So yeah, there've been some.
Mhm.
Tim Brown was a Heisman Trophy winner. It came from Dallas Adamson.
Mhm.
So there've been
And
some great players from Texas that have played at Notre Dame, no question.
yes, and I got to meet a few of like the alum, and so that was fun. That was exciting. Just to be able to actually sit by one of them and kind of like pick his brain a little bit. Um, but I want to go back. That they've been asking me to come back, and I kind of wanted them to be. I have a picture of that. I wanted them to be in the playoff so that I could go back, but I know for a fact I will be at their bowl game. So whichever bowl game they do and are in, I think they play in Atlanta on the 31st
I don't think
December.
it's set yet.
I
They'll
think
make
that's
all those
fall.
announcements.
Yeah.
They'll make all those announcements when they announce the bowl seedings this coming weekend,
Yeah.
and then you'll know. But I'm sure there's already been some. There's probably deal making in the
Hmm.
background and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they. The one thing that does disturb me though is that you talk about the Aggies being a lot like Notre Dame, and I don't recall ever seeing any cheerleaders in their pajamas with no hair.
Are we really getting into this right now? Hey, I have been on your side with the Les Miles thing, so be nice.
It was
Be
it
nice.
was easy. It was there. I had to
It was
do it.
easy.
I had to
It
do it. I'm
was.
sorry. It was a
But
cheap
for
shot.
once
I'm
we have
sorry.
agreed, yes, but for once we have agreed on something via LSU, and that's the whole Les Miles
Uh,
thing.
okay. I won't do that anymore. Big
Okay.
12. What's your take on the whole outcome of the way this thing turned out?
You know what? If it had to be anybody, Boomer Sooner, honestly. If it had to be anybody,
Seriously?
I they at least play defense. They at least play defense.
Well, that's true. They do play defense. That's a
Yes,
pretty foreign concept in the Big 12. I have to agree with you.
exactly. So
Okay.
they at least play defense. Honestly, the OSU Baylor game, I went,
Yeah.
I was there, did not expect it to be like that at all. I mean, that was just, it was nasty in the
It was
beginning,
horrible.
and it was cold too. It was freezing there too, and I was just not, I was not a happy camper. I was like, I was expecting, OSU to really like give it to them in the beginning, and it looked like it was going to be a shutout for a little bit. It looked very, very scary. Um, but at least, I mean, at least they kind of made it a game. I mean, Baylor's offense is just unreal, honestly. It, it's, I don't think that any of those teams should be in the national championship. Any of the Big 12 teams. If anything, OU, I mean, has some credit, but other than that, I don't think any of them are national championship worthy.
Including
I think
OU?
no, I said if anything. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I think the University of Houston is better
Oh,
than any of those
come
teams.
on.
They at least play defense and offense.
Well, yeah,
Come
but
on,
the competition's
I'm a
just a
Tom
little
Herman fan.
different.
I love Tom Herman. I am pro Tom Herman. No matter where he is, I am pro Tom Herman. I think
Now,
he is the next great.
well, the good news is it looks like, although he still hasn't signed the contract yet, it looks like
Yeah.
Houston's going to be able to hang on to him for at least a year. But I would not count on him being around for another year after next year.
No. I think after Greg Ward, I think he's gonna have fun with Greg Ward one more year, and then he'll leave.
By the way, Tyler, Texas's own Greg Ward.
Yes, my buddy, my pal.
I
He's great.
I got a chance to call several of his games on the radio, and he and Patrick Mahomes are pretty. They're pretty stout quarterbacks coming
Now
out of
I
East
like that.
Texas.
Yeah, I like watching him play too a
Yeah,
lot. So
it's just a shame.
yeah,
It's another case of no defense on the team, though. You know.
I was so happy when Tech won against Texas. I was just one of the happiest little girls.
Now,
Plus, I had a
now you're
bet going
taking
on that
shots.
game.
Now you sound like an Aggie
I
again.
know, I know. No, well, no, no. I have friends for Tech, but I just feel now. Now I like Charlie Strong though. I don't want him to leave, but
Okay.
I did want Tech to win because I feel like they've kind of been, the underdog.
Hmm.
Well, they've always kind of been the underdog. Um, and I wanted them to beat Texas, so I was
Well,
happy when that happened.
they did that. That was not a problem. Um,
Yes.
I did see where Charlie Strong is trying to get Sonny Cumby from TCU to be his next offensive coordinator, and so that seems to be a move in the right direction.
I heard there's a little rumor going around about Meacham being
Well,
at UNT.
he pulled out of
I don't
that
know.
today. The word was that he pulled his name from contention for the job. So
Oh,
something apparently is not right there, or at least not right for him at this moment.
yeah.
So,
Um,
uh,
I don't
no,
know. We'll
even
see.
weirder thing. Somebody had some goofy thing to say about Meacham uh, staying, possibly staying at TCU unless Gary Patterson went to the NFL. Where'd that come from? I've never heard
I
anything
haven't.
about Gary. That's somebody's. I think somebody's sniffing a crack pipe.
Well, yeah. Well, and then you still have all that talk about Saban wanting to go back to like wanting to go to the NFL, and
Saban's never
everybody
leaving.
swears that that's gonna happen.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah,
Saban's
I
going to
don't.
retire. His last coaching job is right where he is right now. It's never going to happen.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
so Final Four then. Based on tonight, right now, before the weekend comes and all the championship games, who you got as your top four in college football?
This is way too hard for me to. I haven't even thought about this.
You haven't thought about this.
I haven't even thought about it. I know, I haven't even thought about it.
All
I'm
right.
terrible. I know.
Let
Um,
me ask. Let me just throw it out to you the way it's lining up right now. Clemson
okay, that'll,
1,
okay.
Alabama 2, Iowa 3, and Oklahoma 4 is what it looks like right now. You good with all that, or you think there's somebody that ought to be in there that's not in there?
Hey, honestly, two of those teams, I just don't even know how to. If anything, I'm so glad I was there. Um, like I said, just lover of the underdog. I don't think that Alabama is national championship worth it. Like they're I don't think they're that good. I don't. I think
Have you
Ohio
watched
State's
them
better
play?
as a team. As a team. As a
Have you watched
team.
them play?
No, I haven't lost my mind. I come on.
Wow. To me, they look like the best team in the country.
Yeah, because of their wins. That's it.
Well,
I also don't agree. I also don't agree that with the whole Fournette not being in the Heisman contender because LSU's lost a few games. He's one of the best run it. Like I don't agree with how the system works. Honestly, I just don't. So and I will like stay strong with my belief. So
okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know.
Um, I don't think anything's going to change this weekend. I don't, I hear people saying they believe North Carolina is going to beat Clemson in
I
the
hope so.
ACC
That'd be
championship.
fun.
I just don't see it happening though. You know?
Hey, stranger
Do
things have
you?
happened.
Well,
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean pigs fly too, I guess, but I don't see that happening. You were at the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving Day.
I did. Like, remember I said that's what I lost my appetite. I had no appetite.
Yeah.
But, I do like the Panthers, so maybe that's why. Maybe
At what point did you lose the appetite? When Romo was throwing the interceptions, or when he broke his collarbone again?
well, I think Romo was brought back too soon. That's my opinion. Because I do know people who have broken their collarbone and they were out like 2 more weeks, more than him. I lost my appetite when it was 10-0, like, and I think it was 10-0 in the first quarter. I know Luke Kuechly got an intercept, like, caught an interception, and I mean, yes, I was, pro Luke Kuechly, and because I love the Panthers and I love Cam Newton, but it was a nasty game, honestly, it was. And then when Romo got hurt again, I mean, that's just a tragedy, honestly. And
So,
I felt like that. I feel like that could have been prevented if he was out a little longer.
so what do you think happens now? They just go ahead and lose the rest of them? Do you think there's any chance they win another ball game this year?
Well, hopefully they win this weekend because I'm flying up there to see them, so they better win.
You're
I don't
flying
know.
up where?
I am flying actually into Baltimore on Sunday and then driving to DC for their Monday night game with the Redskins.
Are you really?
I
Well,
am.
now, have you ever been to a Redskins game at Washington D.C. before?
I have not, so I'm actually really excited. I heard the stadium is just, a place to be. So, and it's going to be really cold. Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Are you back?
Yes. Oh, I didn't leave.
Okay. We have glitchy internet right now, so I apologize for that. I also know that you're one of the few people anywhere in the state that cares about the Texans. Um,
Hey, the Texans are
what do you
playing the
think?
Saints. The Texans are playing the Saints. So that's honestly one of the I mean, I didn't expect for that. I wanted the Saints to win, truthfully. Um,
Yep.
I think the whole fan thing with the Texans that just baffles my mind. I mean, that right there is just so funny to me. Like their
What
fan
do you
base.
mean?
The Texans?
Okay, tell me about that because I'm not familiar
I
with what.
honestly, I think they are the worst fans. They're bandwagon fans because it is a newer organization.
They're
You
Houston
don't,
people.
I'm not a Houstonite. I'm, mm-mm, no, I'm not. I'm from Montgomery, Texas. That's, that's north of Houston. Not even in Harris County. It's in Montgomery County. Um, I think it's so funny seeing the whole thing, like when the Texans talk about the Cowboys fans and like vice versa, because you don't hear anything from the Texans when they're losing. And what? Because y'all won like 2 games in a row. Now y'all are, Billies. I don't know. I'm just weird about that,
But
honestly.
you,
And
you are a big J.J. Watt fan, though, right?
I would be a JJ Watt fan no matter where he was because I think him as a person and what he does for that team and off the field is phenomenal. And I would wherever I am a JJ Watt fan. He's with the Texans. So, but
You're
and I
okay.
liked Kubiak.
Yeah.
I'm a big Kubiak guy.
You're
So,
probably really happy with him being in Denver then, because I know what a Broncos fan you are.
yes, that just fits. I mean, and that game was beautiful. I was so happy with that game too. That was great.
Were you happy because the Patriots lost more than you were happy that the Broncos won?
I was more happy that one of my really good friends sacked Tom Brady. Honestly, seeing that, I mean, I wanted to cry. I was so happy. Seeing the look of defeat in Tom Brady's face was great. And
So you're a hater.
I am not a hater. I think that they're
Yeah,
cheaters.
you are.
And
You just said it.
I think that the Patriots are cheaters. I don't respect that organization at all. At all. There
Okay.
is nothing about the Patriots that I like.
All
So
right. So you are a hater then.
don't call me a hater. There's reasons behind my
I,
beliefs.
I didn't say I didn't say I never said your hate was unfounded.
And I think that wait, what is it? Whatever his name is, he got a bruise. He was being a little baby. He shouldn't have been like carried off the field. So yes,
Okay.
maybe I am hating. I'm drinking some Patriots haterade today.
Yeah,
So I'm calm.
a hater raid. Okay. All
But
right. Let
I
me ask
do
you one
want
last
Peyton
one.
Manning. I want Peyton. I've wanted Peyton Manning to go to at least one more Super Bowl and win because I don't think he's going to be playing that much longer. So
Well, that was my next question for you because you're following them. You saw Osweiler play and they won. Do you think number one? Do you think Peyton even comes back and ever gets healthy again this season? Is he just done?
I really hope he comes back. I mean, hopefully by the Bengals game. Um, that's a
How
home
long away is
game.
that?
It's in. It's not this. I think it's okay. It's not this weekend, but it's next weekend because it's their last.
Okay.
I want to say it's their last home game. Um,
Okay.
I do plan on going to that one. And I want him to come back. He's his pride, I think, is killing him a little bit. But I want him to at least end if he does end, which I'm not praying for that, but like I want it to be on a winning note and a positive note. So for the sake of his pride. But it does kind of it was kind of that I'm hoping he is extremely happy that the Broncos did win without him against the Patriots. Hopefully that doesn't, affect anything mentally.
Sorry about that. Continuing to have the internet iffies here. I was going to ask, would you consider it be a positive thing if he was having to stand on the sidelines and watch his team win the Super Bowl? I guess you answered that though while I was trying to get my act back together here. So,
Wait, what was your question? I couldn't hear you.
it, would you consider it to be positive if Peyton was standing on the sidelines watching his team win the Super Bowl?
I mean, it's your team. You did help them. I mean, you were there. You did help bring them there. I don't know. Like I said, I think a lot of his conflict is self-conflict, and it's his pride. And people that
Yeah.
do know him, that's what they say, and he just, which is great. He's a winner. He has that mentality, but I think it hurts him though sometimes because I think he's been injured a lot longer than his, being out has shown. So,
Okay. What have you got coming up? What are you getting ready to do here in the next few days?
Mavericks Rockets on Friday,
Wow.
then Saturday I have the Major League Football League combines are on Saturday and Sunday, and then I also have the Denton Geyer football team, like they're playing in the quarterfinals against Mansfield, which is going to be a crazy good
Yes, it
game.
will be.
And then Sunday I fly out for the Cowboys and Redskins, and I will
Other than that,
return
no
on
big deal.
Tuesday. Yeah. Other than that, no big deal. And then I'll come back on Tuesday.
All right, and then tell me, as far as the writing and the videos and all that, what's the plan? Do you have a plan when you do all this stuff?
Do I have a plan? My plan has obviously been working in the sense of it's getting attention. The best ones, honestly, are the college ones because it's now the coaches are coming to me and it's almost like a recruiting. Well, I mean, it helps bring attention to the program, to their programs, and I'm just gonna try to hopefully, attend as many colleges and organizations as I can and bring awareness and a positive view, and hopefully it just, continues to keep building from there. But I do know for a fact that I will be at the Senior Bowl, which is in Mobile, Alabama on the 27th, January 27th. And I was extremely lucky enough to actually get asked to go to the Super Bowl. So
Wow.
I'm really excited about that. Hopefully it'll be Broncos and Panthers. That's what I'm hoping for.
I hope for
But
your I hope for your sake it is. I hope for your
yeah.
sake it is. All right, so tell people how they can check out the blog, where they can find you, and if they want to communicate with you and invite you to all their big ball games and things like that, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, everything is actually on my website, which is letsgetevolved.com. And if you go to my website, you can go to the links to my Facebook, my Snapchat, my Instagram, and my Twitter. And basically everything that I do is always posted. And it's always live. So hopefully on Friday, y'all can tune in on my Snapchat, which is Evolve with Elo. That's the screen name, and I will be broadcasting the Mavericks and Rockets game at 7:30.
It's never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. Hopefully, it stays that way.
Hey, it's fun talking to you again. Oh, by the way, one question. I need personal advice. Um, my I want to say this is either 27th or 28th wedding anniversary is coming up on Thursday. Um,
Oh,
should I buy my wife a lawnmower?
does she want to really? No, you should not. You should cook for her. I think that's the
I should
sweetest
cook.
thing that a man can do is to cook.
Really?
Even if it's, even if, oh my, yes, it's something that you can't buy. I mean, you have to buy ingredients, but I mean, I think you cook a meal because it actually shows effort and you put time into something, or even a handwritten letter. Nobody writes letters anymore. That's what I was doing today. I was writing thank you cards. like all morning. But nobody does that because everybody's always on the computer and doing
Yeah,
stuff.
and
But
the fact that my handwriting, because I'm always on the computer, my handwriting looks like hieroglyphics now.
hey, but you know what? She would love it. I think you should write her a cute poem and you should cook for
Oh
her.
man.
Do not get her a
You know,
lawnmower. I will personally come and beat you up. If you do, if you do that.
uh, I can tell you this: if I wrote a poem, my wife would think my body has been possessed by some kind of a psycho voodoo guy.
Aw. Okay, well maybe cook.
My wife would go, "What happened to my husband?"
Turning a new leaf. Well then at least
Yeah.
cook for her.
Okay.
At
All
least
right.
try to cook.
All right. Hey, it's great visiting with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Went so much better technically this time than last time, so maybe we can
Yes.
do this on a more regular basis.
We'll have to do it after this week. I'll have to tell you about this Cowboys Redskins experience. Hopefully it's a good one.
I can't wait to hear about that. I want to see if you get in there and sing "Hail to the Redskins" with those people.
You know I like to cause a ruckus, but I can't cause that much of a ruckus if I do that. I may never get asked to
Are
return.
you wearing a Cowboys jersey?
I will actually be with the Cowboys, so I actually have to be a Cowboys fan at this game.
Yeah, but I mean, are you going to deck out though? Where or are you going to hide? I mean, are you going to conceal
Well,
your
I always,
cowboydom?
I mean, I'll be in denim like I normally am with the boots
Yeah.
and the pearls, so at least I have the blue going. I will not be
Okay.
wearing anything gold or red or whatever they
Okay.
are. I need to do my research on this other team, honestly. I need to get to stepping.
Well, I'll let you go and you can start doing your homework. But I enjoyed the visit and we appreciate it. And maybe we'll get to talk again here in a few days after if you come back alive from the Redskins game.
No, knock on wood. Bye,
Yeah,
Bryan.
please do. Hey, it's good to see you, Erica. Take care. That is
Okay.
Erica Lynn. She is Evolved with Erica. That's the name of the blog. Check her out. I'm Bryan Houston. Thanks very much for watching. And we will. You can check this out and other Spreecasts and podcasts on rattleandhumpsports.com. It's randhsports.com, actually. randhsports.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.